This is the Galpin Speed Shop, and this is where we save history. I was really inspired by people like Carl Casper as a kid. Of course, Roth and Winfield and Barris were the big three, but Casper actually did pretty much everything himself. He painted everything himself. He'd do all the fabrication, the body work. His stuff was just outstanding. Pretty much all the skills that I've learned over all these years have been out of necessity. Being poor, you have a couple choices. You can not have it or figure it out. So I always chose to figure it out. That's true with the painting. That's true with, fabrication, sheet metal work, all that stuff. I did spend quite a few years as a tool maker for General Motors, so that taught me a lot of machining, kind of taught me how to move metal, but in a really big scale. I'm not by any means a metal shaper. I have a lot of friends that are way more talented than me that I usually call on when I need to do crazy stuff, but for the most part, I just figure it out. There is no, well, I can't do that. So here we are in the speed shop. When I was little, I spent a lot of time going to like Johnson Speed Warehouse in Lansing, Michigan, and Ram Chargers and stuff in Detroit. And these places always had these counters, and I could never get behind the counter. So I kind of created a counter that I get to go behind without anybody kicking me out. All this stuff, none of it's for sale. It's just for when I'm restoring these like historic custom cars that are built primarily with aftermarket stuff from the 50s, 60s, 70s. I hoard all this stuff, but I use it on the restorations. So it looks cool hanging on the wall, but it looks way cooler when you like open it up and put it on the car. There's a lot of crazy stuff here. There's hundreds of models. There's zingers. My sedan, 32 two-door sedan that I found in a barn when I was really young, like 11. And I was able to get the body, and then I just rebuilt it without painting it so I could drive the car that I saw when I was a little kid. Over here we have Wilhelm's Wild Dream that was the AMBR winner for '68. Of course, the Moonliner, Streamliner. The main focus for Bo Bachman and I here at the Speed Shop is to preserve and save as many of these historic customs as we can so future generations can learn from them and see exactly how things were done in all these different periods in time. So this is sort of the collection of all the early show cars that really everyone comes here to see. Bo has been working on putting this collection together for 18 years.
Now, if you could pick one car out of this whole collection, excluding the ones you built for yourself, what would be your car?
Batmobile, obviously. There's nothing cooler than the Batmobile. Not one car. I don't care what it is. The Batmobile wins. If I can pick two, probably the Munster Coach. Well, it's my whole childhood. Yeah, right. What's better than driving your childhood? So that's Ed Roth land. We've restored Ed Roth's Orbitron that was found being used as a dumpster outside of a sex shop in Juarez, Mexico. Ed Roth's F-100 shop truck in a barn in Oklahoma that's been put back exactly the way it was when he did it. This is Gene Winfield. These were all my creations. I recently just put together a Deuce Roadster. That's a lot nicer car, a little Hemi in it. You spend years and years and years building stuff for other people. It's nice to just kind of focus on yourself for a minute. Barris is back over there. The California show cars are on that side. A lot of Dan Woods, Joe Balon. So there's a Von Dutch area over there. The Pink Panther, the Boot Hill Express, the Stage Fright, all these cars are really meaningful to me. I built these models so many times as a kid, and now I get to play with them in full scale. Everybody comes to see all this stuff, but really the real fun stuff happens in the shop. So let me go show you what that looks like. I think it's really cool that a company like BAILEIGH is making all of these machines, and they're not cheap, but they're not like completely out of reach either. Like if a guy really wanted a machine, he can get a machine. I'm pretty big on not having a bunch of stuff that I'm not going to use quite often. So I really try to just keep it to the tools that I have. So this is the shop. It's kind of a mess right now. There's a lot going on. This is where most of the metalworking equipment is, of course. The lathe, shear, the magnetic brake. The tools from BAILEIGH have been a big help. The shear, I don't know what I would do without a shear. And the magnetic brake is really good. I use both of those, without exaggeration, every day. It's neat that they offer everything from entry level to full-on pro. And in that spectrum of equipment, there's everything from fabricating, machining, metalworking, all the different things. There's stuff at every level along the way, so you can kind of work your way up if you need to. Regular old box and pan brake, some bead rollers, a slip roll, small planishing hammer, an English wheel that I don't use hardly at all. The do-all bandsaw I use quite often. The vibra shear. I use the Bridgeport quite often. I found it for sale way up north. This rotary table actually came from Pat Ganal. I traded him a compressor for this. So this is the new cold saw that I just got today. And this is gonna make my life much easier. The latest edition with the cold saw, I'm pretty excited about because I've been using this poor old worn out horizontal bandsaw for almost 20 years, and I built a lot of just ridiculously big stuff using that little saw, and it still works, but it's really tired. I'm tired of fixing it, so cool to make the jump to the big dude. Very excited about this. I still need to build a feed table and get this all built in and tuned in, but this is a really great addition. I'm stoked. Just about finished recreating the hearse from the movie The Warriors. This is the X-Sonic that's coming up pretty soon. We're working on a display for this outlaw body right now. This is my old paint bench. Been mixing colors on this for 25 years or so. Every single thing happens here. Everything except for like rebuilding engines and transmissions, all the metal fab, all the electrical, all the paint, all the body. Willie even comes here and sews the interiors in-house. So there's not much I farm out outside of chrome. That way I can have control because I have issues. Getting ready to start on a really historic restoration soon. The X-Sonic Corvette, which is really, really important. It's the first custom with a bubble top. I know for sure it was Watson's first candy fade paint job. Most importantly, it's the first car with hydraulics. And that means it's lowrider number one. The Uncertain T, which was a recent find, and we like to show it as found for a little while before we start the restoration process. I think people appreciate the restoration more when they get to see just how screwed up it was. We also have the Ultimus, which is a 59 El Camino twin bubble top custom that Tom Holden built in Detroit around 1960. The Trendero is out there. I'd like to get to that one of these days. I have Tom Daniel's Pie Wagon. What we've amassed here is this incredible collection. I don't think there's anything like it anywhere, of these crazy show cars, which really focuses on a time where creativity and art were predominant more so than the function of them as cars. Most of Ed Roth's stuff is basically just a sculpture. Not a lot of it really ever worked, but all of it is bitchin'. And all of it's important, and it's all a really big deal that we save it for everybody else to learn from as we go.